Good morning, everyone. Ugh. Ah, I'm a little late today. Do I have even a schedule of anything? Not really. I don't need to have one anymore. I talked to someone yesterday, came by, and we were talking about, we both like to talk politics. Actually, it's my husband. And it's been really amazing, and how, as I said, we're kind of both on the same side, still have the same side, right? But still have some, see things some different, yet really nice, how we talk about things. And I think it's just good when you have people face to face and you kind of have this, okay, common denominator, and to talk some things out, right? If you just have things just always go around in your mind, man, I think that's how people start losing sleep and don't feel well and develop, all kinds of problems in their lives, right? I just find it just okay. I like to talk, well, obviously, right? But when my sister-in-law is here, she's very quiet. She doesn't say a whole lot, doesn't have a whole lot to say, but she's a great listener. I sometimes feel sorry for her, because I'll sit out on the porch and I'll talk to myself. Well, okay, I don't talk to myself. I have all of Spirit World to listen to me, and I listen to them too. But she'll just sit there and I'll just start talking, about this. And then she'll just, so what's the give and take there? Well, I think, and I've talked about that. She says, I enjoy listening to you, I don't agree with everything, but and she won't say anything, even if she disagrees. And she just, I enjoy listening to you. It's company. Oh, it's company, right? Yes? Okay. Well, anyway. So, where was I going with that? So this is so what if, we're kind of set up here for no internet, no electricity, no, we're good. Yeah, we'd be good. But we enjoy, we both enjoy the internet. We both enjoy going and checking things out, this and that. So, and, he said that, yeah, I didn't have the phone. He disconnected his house phone, and didn't have phone, got rid of the phone line, basically, for 2 months. He said it was kind of, he said he had to get a phone again. Right? He got a cell phone. Had to get a phone again because he's still working. He still had to be, he said, I had, how do you say that? Commitments that he'd already made, and kind of needed to be in contact, and there's some way to contact him. I listened to that, and I'm going, wow, yeah, I know how that was in the beginning, on how there were all these things still in my life while I was working, a working life with the children, raising children, where the outside world was a very big part of everything, right? And then also I was someone who volunteered a lot and helped out a lot, and right, all around everywhere. And so there was this constant, and with the herbs, and so there was this constant thing always going on. Then when I decided then when I had problems with my legs, realized I couldn't do certain things anymore. Even if I wanted to, it wasn't safe to drive a car. Suddenly, I had to talk to the people. Then I can't do that anymore. I would love to, but I can't. So one thing after another, these commitments in a way fell away from the outside world, where then now communication with the outside world is just about making the videos, kind of following God's call to what do you want me to do with what I'm still capable of. But as far as having to answer any kind of phone call, what about emergencies? Well, again, the emergency's already happened. If you get a call, there's an emergency, it's already happened, right? What am I going to do about it? So does it matter if I find out sooner or later? It doesn't really, because again, what am I going to do? Right? Just saying, right? Not trying to sound crude here. Just saying. So I said, yeah, it took me about 2 years to get to the point where I can say, if I don't want to have any kind of outside, just because for myself, to be by myself, just be with myself and what there is here and have that give and take with spirit world uninterrupted, right? I unplugged the phone. And it's okay, right? But it's difficult. It's difficult to get to that point to be able to do that. Well, anyway. So, oh, and it's not for everyone. I get that. Genesis 15. The divine promises and covenant. Here we go again. Promises and covenants. How many does it take? I have to tell you, well, let's see where this is going to go here. I have to tell you that in my life, I feel I may have broken a promise or two, mainly because the circumstances didn't allow, or my concern. For example, I'll give you one. When we moved here, we told the girls, you get a horse each, and promised our son that he'd get a four-wheeler. Then my son was just at the age where, yeah, he was a bit of a daredevil, or maybe just didn't quite understand that you got to be careful. Don't do what others do when it comes to stuff like that. And it was before we were going to get it for him. The girls already had the horses. It was time to get him the four-wheeler. And there were a string of accidents with young teens with four-wheelers and terrible injuries, this and that. And it was like, I got suddenly scared knowing my son. And it proved it when he got a car. He got a car as soon as 16. Why do people get their kids' cars at 16? It's insane. And sure enough, it wasn't, no. I sat with him in the car one time. I said, can you just slow down a little? There's a curve coming. He says, I know my car. I'm going, yeah, do you know the road conditions this morning too? And I thought that was just a very silly answer to give, right? And right then and there, okay, no, that's not how you react to the concern of your mother when she's sitting with you in the car, right? And telling you, please slow down. And giving a smart donkey answer, right? And well, he made it so far, and as far as I know now, he's a little bit more conservative with his driving. But again, so he didn't get the four-wheeler. He got a computer, which turned out a total lemon, and the computer did. Something was just not right with it. Paid a lot of money for it. And I know that really disappointed my son. That yet to this day, in a way, though, I feel like that's why he's still alive. So I can't say I had to break a promise out of a concern that had just suddenly developed, and knowing my son, right? Yes? Okay. So, but otherwise, I have to say, if I could, right, I've kept my promises. All over. I kept my promises. It's an important thing to do, right? Can't just. God must have had a lot of hope in us. Continuously make another covenant. Ugh. Divine promises. He's always made them. What did he actually get back? What does he get back today? People too busy to pay attention a little bit. Slow down what you can. Eliminate out of your life and slow down a little bit. Right? Yes? And pay attention a little bit more to other things like, how do I love God? Right? For example. All right. Why do I need to read the Bible? I think I'm doing better than the Bible, really. Okay, all right. Now, I said, I'm not going to read the Bible and just go with whatever this and that. If you are a total, like, straight-laced, well, Bible, that's it, I'm not going to have any thoughts, then this isn't for you. Right? I get that, right? And, if I offend some people with the way I look at this, I'm not sorry. I get to do that. I do get to do that, okay? I have to mention that, see, before I start. I just saw a group where they're very much the administrators who started this. It's a discussion group between in the same religion but different views, okay? Different ideas on how things should be going and whatever, okay? Yeah. Gets quite heated. That's interesting. People, at least in this group, how many groups are out there where nobody says anything? You just see the post, but there's no exchange going on. This group, a lot of exchange going on, right? Yeah, not all of it is pretty, but at least, and it's gotten into some bullying, where I see bullying going, intimidating others over what they want to share. Nothing that hurts anyone, nothing that has anything to do with, that's not even disrespectful, just pointing out that this is conversations that happened, or this is what I believe in with, the party I'm with, this, that. And just saw, it has been requested. I'm going, oh, wait a second, right then and there. I'm going, oh, wait a minute. And then it went on, and I had to say, wow, where is the administration of this group? That's a threat. And that's intimidating, bullying someone for no apparent reason except for, right, she probably has a point somewhere, this, that, and what, they want to shut her up? Wait a second, the people who started the group, they're very much for freedom of speech, freedom of whatever, okay? And here, one of the fundamental things that we have in this country, which is, still as far as I know, I get to say what I like to say. I haven't had any problems. Maybe they'll come for me someday, right? Because my mouth's too big. I don't know. But so far, right? And how many people are restricted on freedom of speech? Oh, because the sites that one is in, they sort of don't like it, so they censor you more than others. Okay, well, that supposedly goes around. Well, I always find my way around it. Yeah, that happened to me. But in this group, right, I don't want to see that, because of what the administrators' beliefs is, right? And yet, they're letting someone of their own in that group do that to somebody else. That's not right. How is that right? And not only that, but it's almost as if, you tell that one, right? The administrators, you tell that one. Yeah? Whoa, you support that? That's wrong. That's just wrong. So I had to say something, of course. I'm not popular in this group, I can tell you that. All right. So let's go. Right? The divine promises and covenant. Yeah. Pretend. People like to pretend, but when it comes down to it, you catch them every time. You catch them. Some time later, the word of Yahweh came to Abram in a vision, not a dream, it says, in a vision. Do not be afraid, Abram. I'm your shield and shall give you a very great reward. Lord Yahweh, Abram replied, what use are your gifts, as I am going on my way childless? Oh, Abram must have loved his wife very much. He only had one, but he was concerned about not having children. And yet, so people just love to have their own children. It's just what it is, right? But surely, since this is a whole tribe, it says Abram was basically the king of his tribe. So all the people in his tribe were his, right? All the men always survived. It just went, hunting something. It was hunting the party down, the war party down that had Lot and all these possessions. Nobody passed away. Nobody died in this skedaddle. No one, no young guy that has a wife and children ever passes away. Okay, well, there's more coming up on how they dealt with that, but really, there were no orphan children in his whole tribe that he could take in as his own. They still be God's children, right? Not the same, is it? Why not? I'm not getting that. Okay, well, anyway, we're very possessive people. We shouldn't be that way. God in no ways has ever been come across as a very possessive. He doesn't like it. Just that any parent would not like it. When your children go out and pay homage to someone else more than the ones that raised them, that hurts. That hurts one. Okay? And it's very, on the children's side, it's very thoughtless. So yeah, God feels hurt. God hurts too. He hurts over when we decide to put another idol above him and disregard him. He doesn't like it. Anyway. Since you have given me no offspring, Abram continued, a member of my household will be my heir. Okay, so what's the problem with that? Yet he's making an accusation a bit here. Then Yahweh's word came to him in reply, such a one will not be your heir. No, your heir will be the issue of your own body. Then taking him outside, he said, look up at the sky and count the stars if you can. Just so will your descendants be. He told him, Abram put his faith in Yahweh, and this was reckoned to him as uprightness. Well, okay, let's keep going. He then said to him, I am Yahweh, who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this country as your possession. Lord Yahweh, Abram replied, how can I know that I shall possess it? He said to him, bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old she-goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. He brought him all these, split the animals down the middle, and placed each half opposite the other. But the birds he did not divide. Hey, wait a minute. Isn't this? And whenever birds of prey swooped down on the carcasses, Abram drove them off. Isn't this the same thing that happened later with the son? Well, now he still doesn't have any. Huh. Oh. Well, it's a good thing I'm reading this again. Now, as the son was on the point, because I have in the way that God asks Abraham to sacrifice his son. I have a beef with that. I have a great beef with that. So now this is beforehand. Now as the sun was on the point of setting, a trance fell on Abram, and a deep, dark dread descended on him. Then Yahweh said to Abram, know this for certain, that your descendants will be exiles in a land not their own, and be enslaved and oppressed for 400 years. But I shall bring judgment on the nation that enslaves them, and after this they will leave, with many possessions. For your part, you will join your ancestors in peace. You will be buried at a happy old age. In the fourth generation, they will come back here, for until then, the iniquity of the Amorites will not have reached its full extent. When the sun had set and it was dark, there appeared a smoking fire pot and a flaming torch passing between the animals' pieces. That day Yahweh made a covenant with Abram in these terms: to your descendants I give this country, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates, the Kenites, the Kenizzites, the Cadmonites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Rephaim, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Girgashites, and the Jebusites. I can see again when one just doesn't give it any thought and just follows on what the words say. Right? You see no more than the words, and apply it only in the physical, and do not consider the spiritual that goes with this. The laws of heaven. All right, did they know those at the time? I guess not. But then again, what is this here with the splitting? It sounds really familiar, doesn't it? Oh, so were some stories suddenly in other books kind of mixed up? Sounds like to me. Well, we'll keep reading and find out, right? Yes? In a way, that's the only way to do it. And then say, well, okay, what's with these inconsistencies in the stories? And what have we, again, attached ourselves to when it just comes to the hearing just physically of the words, and put them together and say, well, the conflict that's going on today, right, with God's people from that time, which these people still exist today, is it just about territory? I think there's way more to this than meets the eye or the ear. Here's the ear. Huh? And then you view it just in the physical. What I found is, that's the end of 15 in Genesis. What I found, even living in the city, right? People often think that, and I hear it, it's like, well, she just lives in this beautiful place, and what does she know on what goes on in the city? Well, I lived in the city for 18 years as well, doing all kinds of things. Again, there was, in another video, I mentioned on how this beautiful Halloween display, it didn't seem anything super scary, but there's this person hanging in the edge. Oh, it's pretty cool. But the influx of people that created was a concern to another neighbor. You don't own your whole neighborhood when you do these kind of things. And even if some things come up afterwards, one should pay attention to it and give respect to the concern of another person in that area. Right? Yes? So what I found living in the city, you can do so many things, wonderful things, especially in your own place, right? Yes? Yeah, you have to have permits and stuff, but if that's all taken care of, there's a lot of things you can do just to create your own little piece of heaven on earth. You can, right? But if God says, I'm giving you this whole area here, that's going to be, you will be in charge of this area, right, which we moved into. To me that meant, yes, we're going to try and do the best with this really falling down, just destroyed home. We're going to try and do our best with that, and branch out to have good relationships with our neighbors. Did that mean now I'm going to, God said, this is your domain. Go and take over everyone? Force everybody to Actually, and there was another family that also homeschooled, and got very close with, lived right next to us. Due to the neighborhood watch, this, that, people suddenly, at first it was just us, kind of watching out for everyone. Right? But we didn't have people arrested or this or that. When we could, every time we would talk to people first, right? Yes? And most of the time, it was always resolved in a very amicable way, and it got better and better and better in the whole in that street. It's beautiful to see how that street blossomed in a few years. That particular one. Oh, the other one we lived in, we had a huge backyard. Had a goat. We had rabbits. We had chickens. What else did we have? And we had people from the neighborhood come. That we had our little petting zoo. Can we come and see what you guys? Yeah, sure. Come on in. Right? Just from the neighborhood, though, we weren't suddenly. People came from all over the city, and we had one that was, complaining. I said, "Hey, can we just talk about this?" Because the first initiation of it was, I got screamed at from across I couldn't even see the person. I said, "Hey, let's meet. Yeah, would you like to come over for a cup of coffee?" It got really quiet. I'm sorry, can we, is there something we can do, that we're both happy? Got really quiet. I never heard from that person again. That's another, never heard. No complaint. Could have called the police on us, didn't. And maybe something happened there where the person suddenly realized, wait a minute, what am I doing? This is not a big deal. Maybe was in a bad mood, and maybe did not expect a friendly response to the outburst that I was getting. Right? Yes? Anyway, so it's not like I don't know how it is to live in the city. As if I don't know how to be a good guidance, how my family was good guidance. This other family as well, right? To everyone. But you don't take over. You don't do that. You don't just push people out. You don't do that. But you're allowed to voice your concerns. One should be allowed to voice their concerns. Right? Yes? And hopefully, right? Hopefully, one can come to a peaceful conclusion of whatever problems there are that need some attention. Yes? Right? So in this passage, how did Abram actually take? He starts out with, well, I'm childless. I don't have a kid. I have to leave it to whoever next down in the line, God said, no, you won't have to do that. You will not have to do that. It's almost as if, what do we do as parents? Often too. Now, I had concerned my son didn't get his four-wheeler. Seems like God goes, no, I'm gonna fulfill every one of your wishes. Eventually, it's gonna happen, right? Yes, interesting. Oh, God, such a softie, really, when it comes down to it. But Abram kind of was, well, this is what it's going to be like. And kind of, why not just, I have a descendant who will be able, an heir in my tribe, and be happy with that. It couldn't be. No. He'd had to kind of let God know, right? All right, well, if you have a wish, it is that. It's good to let God know. You do have to ask. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but if you ask, at least that's like the lottery ticket. Yes, okay. So, but in a way that he said it, or it comes across, maybe that was not quite true either. But then later on, God says, I'm going to give you, even though I'm going to give you all of that to take care of. Does that mean that then you start a war if there's already people there to push them out? So you and continue that? Or does it mean I'm going to bless all this for you to take care of. And I'm going to stand behind you and help you every which way I can. Does that not mean that you also take on what comes with it, including the people that are already there and that come with it? One doesn't take over. One takes responsibility to care for it all in the best possible way. You see? Yes? And think slowly, get better and better and better. Who doesn't like to live in safety and harmony with other people? Tell me. When it comes down to it, why do you think we have so many conflicts out there amongst ourselves, in a community, in a larger community, then in a nation, and in the world? Why is that? Huh? Again, we got to address the root problems. Huh? Why do we have to be as people so possessive? Right? Yes? Not a good trait. So, there it is. Well, we'll find out how that worked out, right? Yes? Yeah. I don't know about the animal sacrifices. I think that's just something, an altar for Yahweh. What do, right? Huh? You want to make an offering. Well, what you got to offer? Huh? I don't know. Now, when you go to a church, what I see the offerings are, right, aren't animals cut in half. It's beautiful bouquet of flowers. Many flowers. And, again, church going. A piece of church, But again, if you look at it as an offering, right, it's a nice surrounding, right? It's clean, right? Yes. Often churches are very pretty. Right? They don't have to be big. I'm not big into cathedrals and all that stuff. That's pomp. Yeah. God's not about pomp. Okay. But small churches, nicely, kind of in the, and then often the flowers, right? That's from, right, bring it from the outside in. And then there's the people who are there listening to the priest, the reverend, right, about the Bible, having time, give and take with God, and whatever. Right? They're there. And they're the offering. That's an offering to go to church, to be there with others. Right? Yes, not just about going to church and doing your religious thing. That is the offering. Right? Abram may have not known that at the time. As I said, how have we evolved? We don't cut animals open anymore just at the altar, right? Here. Wouldn't that be a scene, huh? Yeah? Oh, then the other offerings at certain times of the year, you have a meal together. Right? Everybody brings something to the offering of that meal. Again, what do you think is the most important thing to God? For us to get together and get along with each other. Huh? Yes? What do you think? On these meals, when people go to church, this and that, how could an offering be stained? When you go there to gossip about someone, when you go to one of these meals and you talk about someone in the negative, gossip, rumors, slandering, right? So, how many of those offerings? What did he not do? He didn't cut the birds, right? How many times do you think when a congregation comes together for Sunday service or this or that, or a meal together where everybody brings something, a potluck, how many of those offerings can God actually really accept? Where not one word of gossip was spoken, not one slander against someone was done. No rumors started or spread. I think. Right? Yeah. Anywho, well, that's what I wanted to say today. Gosh, I had a lot to say, but it's all coming. It's not from me. This is all coming from somewhere else. Suddenly, in the way I feel like I don't have that mind of. I have thought of someone that can keep all this information in my mind, or oh yeah, compute from this to that to that to that to that. That's not coming from me. That is my give and take with spirit world since little, and it's just a part of me. But I can't take credit for it. I can't. I cannot. So, how do people kind of receive guidance from spirit world, and then are able to give it? Well, I don't know. How does it sound to you guys? I'm always amazed. I'm always amazed when I hear myself going, "Whoa, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense." uh, anyway, gotta go. Got critters to feed. God's love and blessings always. Now we'll talk to y'all another time.